Hi, it's Marty at stampwithmarty.com. I'm so glad you're joining me today to learn how to create a picture collage inside of a punch, similar to this project. So let's just get started. The first thing you need to do is start with a clean page, and I'm going to pick the photo books, and the size that I want is 12 by 12. You could choose any size that you want for the project that you're doing. I'm going to use create your own. I'll call this punch collage. And I get started here with a plain sheet of paper. Notice how this says a barcode at the bottom. The first thing we want to do is to eliminate that. The program automatically assumes I'm creating a photo book, and it shows me what we're not to put some critical information. But since I'm not doing a photo book, I want to get rid of that. I can right click on the thumbnail at the bottom of the page where this little red word says back. I just click on that, uncheck this box right here, and it goes away. The first thing I want to do is add some background paper. I'm going to use the Design Center. Pick the background paper. I want some designer series paper for this project. And I'm going to be using this called April Showers. I love these patterns. Notice how this is highlighted to show you what paper I'm working with, and these thumbnails give you an idea of what papers are in this package. And this is from the April Showers kit. So I highlight that and I will choose OK. Now if I wanted to add as a page layer, I have that option here. You would use a page layer if you want to change the color of the paper in any way or make it opaque, or if you want to change the size of it, you want it to just be a stripe on your paper or something. So I want it as a background, so I'll leave that alone and I'll just say OK. The next thing I want to do is to add a punch, and I go to this icon in the resource palette and open the punches. And here you would browse for the punches that you want. Mine are already open. I'm using alphabet soup punches. I want the capital letter A because my subject is Avery and her initial is A. If you don't have alphabet punches, you can create the letter that you want to use. And I have a video to show you how to do that, how to make punches out of stamps. So that might be an option for you. Now, I just want to make it larger and fatter until it lines up, or until it pretty much fills the page. And I want to also center it on my page. To do that, make sure it's selected. The gray boxes show it's selected. Right click, choose Align and Center Vertically, and then right click again and center horizontally. I think it's too far to the right because of this little tail. I can use arrow keys to nudge it back to the left a little bit so that it's more visually pleasing. Now I will select the punch again, and notice I have a lot of options, and this time I want to use photo fill. I pick out the picture that I want to use and say OK. It completely fills my alphabet punch. So I click twice. Let me show you that again. The punch is still selected. As long as it's selected, I click twice and I get the punch image editor. I use the zoom button and I use the minus sign to make it smaller, and I can right click on it and drag it around inside the letter, inside the punch I should say, and I can choose right there. Oops, we got to go a little bit larger. I think that's perfect, and say OK. And that's the first step. Now notice the punch is still selected. So I'm going to right click and say copy, but I don't want to just click and say paste. I need to paste in place. I want to lay the punch right on top of the original punch. So paste in place. Now I have two punches, one on top of the other. And the one that's on top is the one that's selected. Double click, and here I'm going to replace this picture with another picture. Let's do this one. Say OK. Again, it filled the punch. I want it smaller. I will push it down here a little bit smaller and put it there and say OK. Perfect. That's exactly right. So now again I'm going to copy and paste in place. I can do that with the edit button. Copy and then edit, paste in place. I have three punches in my layers now, and let's just look at that. Over here on the resource palette you can open the layers, and notice this is the first, second, and third layer. I'm going to change the picture, replace the image, and say OK, and move this down, set it right about there, and say OK. And there's our third layer. Notice how this is. Now I want to add a drop shadow and a matte to my punch. I have to do it to the very first punch, and I have to wait until I have a couple of layers here before I can do this. And you'll see why. I bring the bottom layer to the top. It's now the one that's selected, and I choose to add the drop shadow. Notice how now this shading comes in, and I want to also add a matte in black, and notice how that comes in and just covers up the pictures behind it. So if we've been copying and pasting this on top of our previous pictures, it wouldn't have worked. But now that it's back here at the very beginning, we can drag it back down. Everything will work just fine. Let's try one more layer. Let's do edit, copy, and edit, paste in place. And I have, whoops, done the wrong one. Okay, let's click on here again. So now I should have this one selected, and we'll do edit, copy, edit, paste in place. And open it up, replace image. We'll take this little birth picture and set it right here in the center. And we'll say, okay. Now you find that you will be using these layers a lot, dragging pictures around. Maybe one overlaps the other one and you need to put it in the background. You can just use the layers over here to do this. There's another way to use layers with this button here, where you can drag these and move them around as well. And you can see a little thumbnail of what's in each layer and each punch. And that's basically it. Oh, one other tip. When you get started, put your pictures in all in the same place, the pictures that you're going to work with in your default. Notice as I click on replace image, my pictures pop up right here, and I don't have to go hunting through all the different folders that I have the pictures in. So I went through and picked out the pictures that I like, that I want to see if I can get in this collage, and put them in my pictures folder. Now I can just put them back where they belong when I'm done. So it's very handy to have them right here where they pop up in that one folder all the time. If you have any questions about how to create this, be sure to send me an email. I'd be glad to help you out. It's really a fun, quick project that I think everybody will look. And let me show you the finished project one more time. So you can see I added some embellishments. I used Happy Birthday, which is a stamp set that came with original My Digital Studio, and it may be also included with the second version of My Digital Studio. I'm not sure, but I can double check, and I'll put a little note at the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you have lots of ideas for using it. Maybe a star, a circle, a diamond, anything would work. A hexagon would be a fun thing to work with as well as an initial. So have fun making this project. See you next time.